Hi guys, so I was a little surprised about this, but recently there was a mainstream article done about how there's no evidence that depression is caused from a chemical imbalance in your brain. And I personally have always had a unique approach to depression. It's something that I've dealt with my entire life due to childhood trauma, and I wanted to give in my perspective and things that have helped me personally with depression. Now before I get into it, I'm holding a baby if you see me looking down. So before I get into it, I want to define what an empath is to me, because I'm going to be referencing empaths. I know people kind of roll their eyes when the topic of empath comes up nowadays, but to me an empath is just someone who feels something, who picks up on energetic frequency, and who is very sensitive to it. Now everybody can pick up on energetic frequency, but an empath is extremely sensitive to it. So when I say an empath, that's all I mean. Put the boo-boo away. Be the baby. Okay. So I gotta start with before I even tell this story, I gotta say I've always had a hard time getting along with girls, and really I don't want to be oh, I'm not like other girls, don't come at me for that. As a child, I was basically like trans. As a child, I had gender dysphoria as a child up until about puberty, and I made a whole video about that. I haven't posted it yet. Maybe one day I'll post it. I feel like it might be controversial, which is why I haven't posted it. So anyway, I've always, and it's not I think I'm better than other girls, I think all girls are plastic Barbies and I'm the only intelligent one. It's nothing like that. If anything, I felt like other girls are above me and I'm below them, and this is something that they can sense also. So to compensate for this, in high school I was a total bitch, to be honest, and even now I had to rewire my brain, but even now I'll still catch myself being judgmental, and I'll force myself to think 3 complimentary things about the person in question to kind of counteract my bitchy conditioning, my bitchy default setting. So that's been something that I've had to work on in my adult life since my awakening. So anyway, this is after my awakening. At one job there was 3 different girls who I got bad vibes from right away. So when somebody gives you bad vibes, you have to ask yourself first, is it my anxiety? Is it my intuition? Or is it anxiety? So when somebody gives you bad vibes for no apparent reason, you ask yourself, is it my anxiety? Is it projection? Or is it intuition? So if it's intuition, you're not going to feel emotionally charged to the situation. You'll feel indifferent. That's how you know when your intuition is speaking to you. As opposed to your anxiety, your body will have a involuntary reaction to anxiety. So yeah, these 3 girls gave me bad vibes, and I had nothing against them. I didn't have any issues with them as workers or as human beings, but I definitely picked up on weird energy from them, and it turned out all 3 of them did dislike me, and all 3 of them said that I gave them anxiety. So maybe they were somewhat empaths and they didn't understand it, and they were picking up on my anxiety, and they didn't understand that it had nothing to do with them. Like I said, everybody can pick up on energetic frequencies. Some people more than others, and that's what I consider an empath. I consider myself an empath because I am highly sensitive to other people's energy. So I've always felt depression, as opposed to being a chemical imbalance, I've always felt it is unresolved trauma, right? Whether you lost a loved one, or you suffered abuse, or an illness, it's just some sort of unresolved trauma that you never dealt with, that it always will stick with you. And I also want to preface this by saying depression is not something that you can, she wants my notes, I got some notes and she wants them. Depression is not something that you can just get over and move on from. So don't think this video is about me telling you to get over it and crystals will magically heal your depression or anything silly like that. I personally avoid big pharma like the plague. I cannot stand them. I think they profit off of us being sick. They prefer us sick. I think we are purposely poisoned. I try to avoid big pharma, but like, hey, if that works for you, like, I'm happy you found something that helps you. Like, you deserve to live your life to the full extent that you can and enjoy the little moments. So if big pharma helps you, like, I'm not knocking ya. Personally, me, don't eat that. Personally, me, I prefer to avoid it. So I have found some things that help me with depression. Like, I have depression, I'll always have depression, but depression doesn't have me. That is the difference. And that's what I want to speak on. I think our generation is millennials and Gen Z. I choose to believe that we are cycle breakers, that we're breaking the toxic cycles and healing the damage, the ancestral damage of our families. I think a lot of us are awakening at a rapid rate, not even like awakening like spiritual awakening. We're just waking up to like how we're products of our environment and overcoming that. So authentic vibes only. I'm not like a good vibes only kind of person. I think you need to deal with your negative emotion. You need to, she's determined to eat this. You need to let it out. Don't suppress emotion. It'll eat you alive. You have to cry. You have to scream. You have to let the darkness out somehow, or it will eat you alive. Unresolved trauma and not dealing with it will lead to addiction and dangerous behaviors. Drugs, alcohol, sex, food, desire to be on high social status for validation. All these come, like, you're looking for something from outside of yourself to fill a void. But there's nothing that's going to fill that void, because whatever can fill that void is within you already. So you are seeking externally for that, but it's already in you. So observe your negative emotions. You're not defined by them, but bear witness to them and see like what they're trying to teach you. You have to go to the root of what traumatized you in the first place, and that's how you start to heal. You don't have to carry it. It will always follow you. So when you're in a depressive episode, you kind of want to stay there. You don't want to do something that you know will make yourself feel better. Like if you've lost a loved one, you may feel guilty about trying to move on and trying to find happiness. So when I say this, you don't need to carry it. It will always follow you. Your trauma, you don't have to like carry your demons on your back up a hill. It's always going to be with you. It'll follow you wherever you go. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me. So reflect on the times when you felt the most unsafe and unloved. You didn't deserve that. And it's, once again, I'm not saying it's something you can get over. Empaths are highly sensitive to energetic frequencies, and look at the state of the world. It's super fucked up. So of course we're going to be depressed by it. Those of us who are awake and aware are going to be depressed when we look at the world, and not only when we look at it on the news, all the fear mongering, all the division on social media. We can feel it in our hearts, in our souls, without needing to go on social media or to read the news. We can feel the collective consciousness, and it hurts. And it's not something that we can just run from and pretend is not there. So don't ignore the bad shit, but don't let it consume you. Something that has helped me is a higher power. Now, there have been multiple higher powers in my life. In 2012, wow, as soon as I talk about higher power, look at this. I'm controlling the wind. So yeah, I had a spiritual new age hippie type awakening in 2012. Now I have since found Jesus Christ. I've talked about this a little bit in my other videos. I don't expect that you've watched every single one of my videos, so I reiterate these things. So finding God and prayer have helped me so much, and I'm not trying to preach to you. I know people roll their eyes when you start talking about Jesus. I know there's like a negative view of Christianity in our society today. And I'm not preaching. I'm just saying it helps me, okay? If praying to Allah helps you, if being new age helps you, if being a witch helps you, like as long as you're tapping into a higher consciousness bigger than yourself, then I think the powers that be will help you no matter what name you decide to call it. I think it is all one. Let's see what else. So to get to the list of the things that have helped my depression finally after fucking 9 minutes. Holy shit. Okay. Okay, so God, number one. St. John's wort. It is a herbal supplement that you can take, and you don't need to take it forever. That's what's interesting. Like, I took it for about a year. Some people just suggest to take it for like 6 months, and it does kind of change your brain. I don't understand the science behind it, but I was a lot moodier and more prone to like angry outbursts before St. John's. I don't take it anymore, but I feel like it did help me a lot. Let's see what else. Diet. helps you eat clean eating, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm going to be upfront. I used to eat clean. I was vegan for a little while when I first had my awakening. I am no longer a healthy eater. Like, I'm sorry, but cheese stuffed crust pizza makes me happy. So I do recommend clean eating, but I don't clean eat. I wish I had the willpower. I don't drink pop. I drink Zevia, so that's one win. For me, at least, I would say exercise helps depression because it releases endorphins. That's a given. Else, being in nature helps because, like, the trees and the grass and flowers, everything is alive and it has an energetic frequency that is pure and uncorrupt, unlike us humans. So you can connect with those energetic frequencies, and it'll return you to like your default childlike setting. Remember when you were a child and you were just grateful for the gift of life, and everything just filled you with such excitement and wonder? You can return to that state just by rewiring your brain. So of course, gratitude's being grateful for everything. You start just being grateful for the basic things that you took for granted. Having food to eat every day, the roof over your head, water to drink. And as the more you give gratitude, the more you'll find things to be grateful for. And focusing on gratitude in times of hardship will take your mind off the hard things, and you'll just find more to be grateful for. And I believe that God will give you more good things, because how is he going to give you more good things if you're not grateful for what you already have? Positive affirmations. You may feel a little corny looking in the mirror and saying, like, you're a boss bitch, you can do this. I don't know what kind of affirmations you want to say, but you know what? It's fun to be silly, and it returns you to that childlike state that I talked about earlier. Being of service is another big way to help your depression. Give back. Do like small acts of kindness even. I always say I would be a lot nicer if I didn't have social anxiety. I have a hard time like talking to strangers and stuff, but I wish I could give out compliments freely. Like if you see something you like about somebody or something that catches your eye, like go ahead and say it. Maybe God, higher consciousness, put you in that person's path on purpose so you could reach out to them and like be like a vessel of God to like touch their hand and make them feel like everything's gonna be all right. Like you don't know what somebody else is going through. Maybe donate to an animal shelter. Like we all have. LJ, don't torment the dogs. Like we all have a special niche, a special reason for being here on this planet. And whether it's to help animals or children or survivors, like you have a niche, and it is your duty to answer the calling, right? And to do what you feel led to do, because we all incarnated on this planet at this time for a particular mission. See, being with loved ones helps your depression. I'm gonna say like being a mom helps my depression, but I also want to clear this up and say like you can't have kids to heal your depression, right? Because it's not the children's responsibility to heal the parent. You must first focus on healing, and that is what I did. You must first focus on healing before you bring children into the world, so that you're bringing them in a healthy environment. Art is like the number 2 thing underneath God, I would say, that has helped my depression. Personally, I write fiction. My fiction is dark as fuck, but it really helps me get all those demons out, to put them on paper, to put like myself in the characters, the dark parts of me, the light parts of me, to literally battle demons. That is what my book is about, metaphorically and literally battling demons. I also want to say, like, I am going to publish my book, but I don't think that you need to make art for the sole purpose of selling it, of profiting off of it, of being like a perfectionist at it. You can do art just to heal your soul for no other reason. Like, for example, I am a terrible singer. I sound like Hannah Montana on crack when I sing, but I still sing when I'm alone in the car with the windows down, and I ignore the person at the red light staring at me like a crazy person, because singing is fun. I enjoy it. So if you enjoy some kind of art form, do it. Like, get hobbies, keep yourself busy so you're not there just dwelling in the negativity. So that's pretty much all I had to say on that. Thank you so much for watching.